place life's path does lead. With every breath my heart does plead for your will, may it be done. May I be one with your will. So many joys and sorrows I do meet, yet through each day and night I ever seek for your will, may it be done. May I be one with your will. You've given life and beauty, truth and grace. You've given love and shown to us your face. By your will, may it be done. May we be one with your will. By your will, may it be done. May we be one with your will.
Good morning. After one of Jayanti's songs, I almost feel like I don't have to give a lecture. That's the essence of it, be one with the Lord's will. I'm going to start with the translation of a Sanskrit chant. May Brahman protect us, may Brahman guide us, may Brahman give us right understanding. May love and harmony be with us all. Om, peace, peace, peace be unto us all. Now today's topic is making choices, but what does this have to do with religion? We do these every day. What are the choices? We get up in the morning. I don't know what your routine is. Mine is get up in the morning, go to the bathroom, wave incense to all the people in my room, and have a cup of coffee. I do this totally automatically. I have not made a choice, I think, with my conscious mind. But I have made those choices over the years. And every choice we make and the more choices we make becomes habituated. So what we're doing is, with every choice we make, we're building our character. We're making us the person that we are. We are habituating our life. So, why do we choose one thing over the other? What makes you choose to have coffee, say, before you go to the temple to meditate? For me, it's because I'll probably fall asleep again. And that would distract my mind from what I want to do. But we make these choices sometimes unconsciously and sometimes consciously. If we can make more choices, consciously deciding, is it taking me closer to the person I want to be? Is this choice taking me closer to the goal I have for my life? Is this choice a distraction? Is this choice one that I feel will benefit my life and someone else's? And it seems silly, but I mean, think about what you do every day. And every move you make is a choice you have made. We don't think about that too often because we have become so habituated to certain behaviors that they just are, we think. But according to the Kathopanishad, we have always, everything in life is a choice between the good and the pleasant. Everything in life that we know for sure, what we think is real, is basically what the things that present themselves to our senses. Now, when we're babies, all babies are nurtured and brought into life. And what do people do from the time they are born? The first minute they're born, we start to hold them, to engage the sense of touch. We start to talk to them, we put mobiles up, we engage sight. We engage every sense they have to prepare them for life in the real world. We want their senses going outward. So we do this as a matter of course. This is nurturing a child. But at a certain point, many of us decide that always chasing the externals is not satisfying. It doesn't give us peace or happiness. We have made these habits through society's, our parents, everyone's conscious efforts to make us able to live in this world. But most people who are coming to seeking religion of any sort have a little dissatisfaction with what's going on in their lives or in the world. And they don't know exactly what to do. In the Kathopanishad, it says we have to turn inward because, as this peace chant that we said, may Brahman give us right understanding of what's real and what's not real. Everything that we can see with our eyes, that we can touch with our hands, that we can experience through our senses, taste, smell, everything, is ephemeral. It does not last. So what is it that is the eternal, the lasting thing that we're really searching for? Well, according to Vedanta and to the sages, and according to every religion, it's the inner divinity within yourself. We have masked it by going outward. We have taken all of our interest to go out. Oh, I want to go to the beach. It's such a gorgeous day. Oh, I think that I should go on that walk this morning because that would set up the day to make me feel better. And all of these things are good. But we have to know that we're making those choices. And what is our real goal in life? That's the first choice we have to make. What do we want as a result? What do we want to do with our lives? What do we want to realize? How do we want to approach it? Because death will come. Our bodies are not lasting. And believe me, I know. It gets older and older, and it gets harder and harder to do things. But somehow, we see it. We see death all around us, but we don't think about it. Making these choices that we make in our life, I know it's going to sound a little morbid, but it's preparing ourselves so that we are not afraid of death. We actually embrace going back to our real self. And this is possible for everyone. It is possible, depending upon what kind of habits you set up in your life. I've had the personal experience of 3 devotees, not monastics, I won't bring them in, but just ordinary people who lived ordinary householders' lives, worked all their lives. The first man was not particularly learned in the academic sense. He was an immigrant, and he worked as a carpenter. And when he died, his wife came up to him, and she reached out to touch him. He sat bolt upright in his bed, and he said, "Don't touch me." And he went, "Om, om, om," and left. Now, this is someone who has made preparation by making choices his entire life. What things will lead him towards this goal? What things will give him that strength of mind and character to embrace the infinite? Another devotee that just lately passed away, she had raised 3 children. Her husband was not a Vedantist, very active in the community and everything else. I asked her daughter how she did this, and she said, "Well, my mother gave her entire life to us, but we had to give her 1 hour every morning where she went into her room and she did her meditation, her spiritual practice, and we were not to disturb her." And she set that up as a habit every day for the whole family. As soon as she came out of her shrine, she was completely theirs. When she was dying, we went over and we said, "How is it going?" She says, I'm swimming in the ocean of bliss." And then she left. But these are the result of a multitude of choices we make every day. We make these choices to decide, what is our goal? What do we want? As far as I'm concerned, there's only one thing to want, and that's God realization. Now, you can say it any way you want. You can say, I want to merge with Brahman. I want to see God. Jesus promised that. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. Now, Ramakrishna said the same thing. Someone asked him, "Can you really see God?" And he said, "More clearly than I see you." So these things are possible. They have been done by people. But we have to make up our minds what we want out of life. And many times, yes, we want to enjoy what we see. And that's not wrong. I mean, this is all part of Brahman also. Everything that is presented to us. If we can get to the point where we see God in everything, then this whole world is a mansion of mirth and it doesn't distract us at all. But it takes a great deal of self-effort to get that grace. So you decide, why am I here this morning? I mean, why did you come this morning? It's a gorgeous day. But you all made that choice. And think about, why did you do it? Was it just someplace to go? A pretty view up here? No. You wanted to somehow go deeper into your inner lives, to find out, how other people do it. Maybe, who knows what she's going to talk about today, but maybe there might be one thing I can take home. Seriously, we have to think about, why do we make these choices that we make every day? And to recognize that we are making choices. We can be, as Swamiji said, we are not the grass that blows in the wind, subject to anything that happens outside of us. We are strong. We have inner strength, and we can decide if something is leading us where we want or not. We can do that. This is going to be a little... Okay. Excuse. What about people who seemingly don't make choices, who react automatically in a selfless way? They jump in. I mean, we have personal experience with a lot of firemen up here because we live in a high fire danger area. And these men put their lives on the line for us every day without a thought of themselves. This is also choices that they have made in selflessness, training, but they don't think about it in the fire. They go forward to save people, to save our houses. I mean, but all of these things are habituated, but they are a result of a lifelong choice that they have made, or a multitude of tiny choices. When we look at our lives and we look at the things that we can, it's as simple as, should I go out to dinner tonight or should I cook at home? Not a big choice. Why am I stressing over this? Well, during the pandemic, we don't go out much as a convent, but we made the choice, yes, we're going to go down and support some of the local restaurants because they need help too. Those are choices that we make, and they're not necessarily just for ourselves. We could, do we take action or do we refrain from action? Do we try to help someone that needs help? This is a choice also. Can we help? What can we do to help? Now, 40 years ago, we decided, and we talked it over for probably 3 days, whether or not we could sustain joining the churches to do transition house here in town. It tends to be our practice not to take up something if we can't sustain it. So we talked it over when the churches decided that they were going to open the shelter, and each church would take 1 day a month and take the meals down, cook the meals, and serve them. And we thought about it. We had I think we had 12 nuns at the time, so it wasn't a big choice. We thought, we can sustain this. Well, now we have 4 or 5 nuns, and we've gotten a lot older. But by the grace of God, we have devotees who have jumped in and are helping. But we make these choices, and sustainable choices, to do these things. In the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna asked Krishna, you just advised action. This is acting in this world. But You uphold knowledge of Brahman as the highest form of life. Krishna, do you think knowledge is better than action? Why do you tell me to act? And Krishna answers, from ancient times, these two systems have come down to us. The Sankhya philosophers advise the theory of knowledge. Sankhya is one of the systems of thought. It's a dual. Anyway, the yogis advance the theory of work. But none can attain peace by renouncing actions. None in this life can stop activity for even a moment. Even sitting here thinking is an activity. Nature's qualities, the gunas, will make him act. He who stops his activities and at the same time is still thinking about them attains nothing. That one came on. He becomes a hypocrite. But he who by the power of his mind gradually brings his sense organs under control, employing them to work, that man is better. Therefore, do your work. I mean, we often think religion is otherworldly. It's something, it's being spiritual, where we sit and we contemplate God. This is fine, but no one can do it endlessly. Your mind wanders. You really do. I mean, we've all been meditating for over 40 years here, practically, and I know your mind still wanders occasionally. That's it. You sit down and sometimes it's, oh Lord, I forgot to turn off the oven. It's mundane little things. You cannot sit and meditate 24 hours a day. No one can. Not even a God-realized soul. They can see God everywhere, but they do not sit and meditate. They still do activities and work and help. Sri Ramakrishna was in a semi-constant state of ecstasy. Yet he took care of the practical details at Dakshineshwar. He trained the Holy Mother how to cook, how to clean, how to deal with people. He trained his devotees. He trained his disciples. He was still working the whole time. He was giving examples on what we can do in our life to realize God. It was practical, everyday, down-to-earth, common-sense knowledge. In India, there is the belief that if an image that you are worshiping is broken, it can no longer be worshipped and defiled. Sri Ramakrishna in Dakshineshwar he took care of the Kali temple, but there was a Radhakanta temple with a statue of Krishna in it, and the statue of Krishna's leg was broken. Now, everyone in the temple decided that the image had to be gotten rid of. They had to get a new image. They had to do this. They had to do that. They had to repurify the temple. And the woman who had built the temple and formed the garden there decided to ask the young priest. So she went and asked Ramakrishna, what should we do about this? And he said, well, if your son or son-in-law broke his leg, would you get rid of him? We should repair it and continue worshiping. So he repaired the statue himself, and it's still worshipped in Dakshineshwar to this day. And you can't see where the repair was made. He did it so skillfully But this is the part of where, when we make these choices in life, they have to have a little common sense involved. It's not just flights of fancy and today I'll think about being selfless. Well, act on it. Act on it. Because religion is visible in your actions. Your actions and how you behave to everyone you see and everyone you meet is your religion. If we truly believe that every person, everything in this world is a manifestation of the divine, then that's how we should treat them, how we should treat everyone. That means everyone is the same as us. We are all actually not exactly the same, but our inner being is the same. And thank God we have external differences, because it would be really boring if we were a whole group of little robots that went around and all did exactly the same thing at exactly the same time. That would not be fun. And this world of Maya's is created for the Divine Mother's fun. She enjoys it. It's in total balance. Everything's as it should be. And it continually goes on as it always has. We think today's world is worse than it has been before. But go back in history and see what was happening go back to ancient China, go back to ancient India. They were fighting all the time. There were wars all the time. Go back to, you can just go back. It has ever been thus, and it has not ended. And there is not a time when we're all going to be on the same page at the same time. The only thing we can change is ourselves and how we react and what choice, and that is done by making choices every day. It's not by going out and, it's whichever choices you feel is the right one for you at this time that will take you closer to your goal. If it's political activism, fine. If it's sitting in the temple and praying, fine. They are all valid responses to problems. There's nothing that's wrong. It's simply, is it taking you closer to God? Is it taking you closer to your ideal? We don't look at other people and decide, well, they're doing that, so I should be doing that. No. Look inside and see what you should be doing for your growth. Because we're all here at a different place in our development, spiritual development, all development. I know you really have to take a look at yourself, and it's not fun sometimes. But that's part of growing. That's one of the major parts of growing, is looking at yourself and seeing what's my motivation. We were just reading the other night, and doing good works, Ramakrishna said, or I think he was telling someone, Vidyasagar, who was a man who did a lot of good works in Calcutta, and he said, doing good works you're really doing it for yourself. Think about that. Who do you actually help? And what most people, when they get right down to it, they do these things selfless things because it makes them feel right about themselves. It makes them feel like they're getting closer to their divine nature. And that's not bad. That's good, because it is a choice you've made to work to get to your divine nature. There have been many examples of extreme selfishness and extreme unselfishness. We see people all the time who are so disconnected from their inner being, that their inner divinity, that they do what look like horrific acts, and they are. If for our own self, yes, those acts must be addressed, like when students get to the point where they go in and shoot up a school and kill people. This is a horrific act. But think also about what kind of disconnection from your inner divinity that person must have been feeling. If we can also look at those acts as well as the acts of the person who, when someone fell on the tracks in the subway, threw himself down on top of her and saved them both. Think of what their interior is feeling like. Because this is what we're trying to make our choices to shape, is our connection to our divinity inside. Someone asked the other day, which I don't really want to say at the pulpit, do you pray for Putin? And when we went, oh yes, we pray a lot for him. We pray that he gets right understanding and many things. But basically, even the most evil person in the world, Hitler, anyone, is just another struggling soul. Just another struggling soul. And they're making the wrong choices. They're making choices that lead them further and further from their divinity. And those choices started when they were quite young, probably. So that's why we emphasize in Vedanta making the right choices, making choices that lead you to your goal. If we make a habit of making the small choices daily of selflessness, I mean, one of the ones that I find, you get tired and you say, oh, I don't have time for, I hope no one comes. I hope no one comes, I really am tired. Now that's a selfish choice. That's not leading me where I want to be. But occasionally it happens. I mean, we're all human. We do make wrong choices sometimes, and if we can catch them and know what we're doing, then we can change them. It's very difficult. I remember speaking to someone and they said, well, you have to use Vairagya. You have to look at everything you do all the time. Is it leading me towards God? And someone said, well, that would be just awful. You'd have to really look at yourself. And I went, yeah. Yes, the good, the bad, and the ugly. You have to look at all of it and see, so you can make changes. You know, I mean, it is. That's it. And as I say, that we have to look at what our goal is. And there is only one goal in my mind, to find God, or to merge with Brahman, to realize yourself, to find the truth, to see your chosen ideal, put it any way you want, to know yourself, your real self, your divine nature, because everyone here is basically divine. Every single individual sitting in this room is a manifestation of divinity. We're all manifesting at a different level, maybe, but we are still manifestations of divinity. Every person you meet on the street, every car that cuts you off in the freeway, every truck that gets in the way, the driver is a manifestation of divinity. But we have to recognize that, and then the world is fine. It really is. Everything is okay then. And nothing happens that shouldn't happen. Okay. We have the examples of the extremities, of the extremely bad behavior of some people, which have monstrous effects on, seemingly monstrous effects on the world. Now we have to remember that there's a saying in the Gita, if Krishna kills, no one can save. If Krishna saves, no one can kill. In the beginning of the Gita, he said to Arjuna, who was wimping out on the fight, Arjuna's standing there, and he's the foremost warrior on the Kaurava side, and he's saying, I can't do this. I can't do this. These are my relatives. These are my friends. These are my family. I can't kill them. And Krishna, who is his best friend and the Lord, says, you're not. Everyone is already dead because I have already killed them. You can do nothing because I am in charge of the whole thing. So Arjuna, it's your duty to get out there and play your role. Do your duty. You are not killing anyone. You are not saving anyone. The Lord does it all. So we have to kind of remember that. And I'm just going to end with a couple of quotes. These are extreme actions when we talk about the killings in the schools and then the people saving people by jumping under a train. But extreme actions are what make us aware of these ideal of oneness or lack of it. It's very easy for us to say we're one with nature. But how many of us run when we see a snake? I'm one with nature. I'm not afraid of anything. Oh my God, here comes Carlos. Carlos is a bear who comes through our neighborhood quite regularly and dumps over garbage cans. I'm at one with humanity. Ooh, I don't know about that person. I don't know. But the reality of our feelings of one with nature and one with humanity is put it in action. Vivekananda said, the personality of a man is 2/3, and his intellect, his words, are but 1/3. It is the real man, the personality of the man, that runs through us. Our actions are but effects. Actions must come when the man is there. The effect is bound to follow the cause. Our examples are concrete examples of Holy Mother's injunction. No one is a stranger, my child. Love thy neighbor as thyself. These are injunctions from every religion. The core on every guest is God. Every guest who comes, you must treat as God. As you treat the Brother Worm, that's how you treat me from Jesus. Holy Mother, no one is a stranger, my child. We are all the same. So, glad you made the choice to come today. I'm going to quit now. I always quit early. And we'll have another song by Jayanti.
I come to the garden alone, while the dew is still on the roses, and the voice I hear falling on my ear, the Son of God discloses, and he walks with me, and he talks with me, and he tells me I am his own, and the joy we share as we tarry there, none other has ever known. He speaks, and the sound of his voice is so sweet, the birds hush their singing, and the melody that he gave to me within my heart is ringing, and he walks with me, and he talks me, I am his own, and the joy we share as we tarry. I'd stay in the garden with him, though the night around me be falling, but he bids me go through this voice of woe. His voice to me is calling, and he walks with me, and he talks with me, and he tells me I am his own, and the joy we share as we tarry there, none other has ever known. And he walks with me, and he talks with me, and he tells me I am his own, and the joy we share as we tarry there, none other has ever known.
Okay, we have a few announcements. Wednesday we'll have the reading of For Seekers of God, which is the spiritual teachings of Swami Shivananda, one of Ramakrishna's direct disciples. On Saturday evening at 5, that's at 5 o'clock on Wednesday. You're welcome to come in person. It's on Zoom and YouTube, I think. Saturday, the 7th, at 5 o'clock in the temple here will be Swami Sarvadevananda's class on the Bhagavad Gita, and everyone is welcome to attend in person, Zoom, or I think you do. And his lecture next Sunday, Swami Sarvadevananda, will be Vivekananda's mission. So we'll end with a translation of a chant. I'm no good in Sanskrit. Filled with Brahman are the things we see. Filled with Brahman are the things we see not. From out of Brahman floweth all. From Brahman all. Yet is Brahman still the same. Peace, peace, peace be unto us all.